Welcome to the Trees and Lines podcast, where we discuss fresh perspectives on utility vegetation management. Don't forget to follow along on LinkedIn for the latest news. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. Welcome to another episode of Trees and Lines. Again, we're here at the Trees and Utilities 2025 conference, and Brian Sprinkle will again be my co-host. Brian and I are welcoming back Rebecca Lasica. Rebecca, you were with us last year and appreciate your coming back this year.
Thank you for having me back. Yeah, I love your podcast. I'm happy to be part of it. So,
well, good.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're anxious just to update a little bit from last year, but and I think most of our audience knows NV5.
Great.
How about if we take a minute and you recap? Tell us a little bit about the company, your role there.
Sure, yeah. So, NV5, we're a full service provider for remote sensing solutions. For all kinds of clients. My role there is running our utility client portfolio. And so, really responsible for what we consider partnerships with our clients in supporting their programs for veg management, asset management, engineering work, that sort of thing. But, by a full service solution provider, we really think about ourselves at NV5 as supporting that customer journey or the utilities journey through adopting and implementing technology as they're using it in their programs. That might mean that we're helping them do planning for a new program or an existing program, flying aircraft, analyzing data, delivering content that's actionable for them to make decisions and get work done. So we're happy to be partners with our utility clients. Yeah.
So it's not a package or a suite of packages. It's a totally customized solution that you offer?
I would say configurable. Yeah. We are a service provider. The one thing that is exciting that we do have is also a whole software group. That was new to NV5 a couple of years ago. And it's really exciting to have this implementation where we have a product side of just real rich technology in the analytics space that's really helping us really make an impact where we're using AI and automation to deliver these solutions over time. So we're able to really modernize with the time. And that's helping to manage budgets for our clients and also schedule. It's real impactful for schedule. So
tell us how this AI is going to change what you do going forward.
Sure. And, again, it depends on how the client is going to be using the technology in their program. So it might be that we're acquiring a massive amount of data, and the data, remote sensing data is primarily, it's unstructured, it's complex, there's a lot of it. It can be difficult to deal with. We may be bringing that in-house to our systems using the AI internally to generate faster and accurate insights from the data. Some of our clients have remote sensing programs that they're supporting internally as well, and they may be using some of our software to do that, in conjunction with that. That might be our delivery platform where they're trying to find where are the highest priority detections to do risk-based management of their system instead of schedule-based, or even taking the analytics to their own hands, where we're working on some new LLM technology that enables people to interrogate the data themselves. So they may not need to know, I need to run a co-registration of imagery and run these, for analytics with these parameters to get out a result, but instead interrogate the data with language like, show me all of the tallest trees within a certain distance from a line or something like that.
Like an automated feature coding type system.
Yeah. You can think of it as, LLM technology to just ask data real questions and get an answer.
You mentioned time-based versus risk-based. Do you see that as a trend? Are people moving more risk-based?
Oh, absolutely a trend. I mean, we started to see that probably a couple of years ago for sure. Just in the context of how do you characterize risk and some of the analytics that we would build for risk characterization. Now it's become a requirement for many programs. And so we're really hearing from our clients and just from the market that it's just table stakes to be able to characterize risk, and not just risk, but being able to have a verifiable record of that risk so that people can go back to it and verify what they're seeing and plan accordingly.
Yeah.
We definitely keep seeing everybody move towards the risk-based management. Everybody defines it different, though. How they're, and I assume you're having to adjust based on your clients, how they define risk.
That's right. And that's where you get into the conversation between customizable versus configurable, right? And risk, implementing a different way to get work done, that's a change management problem as well, right? And so, with the risk modeling that we do, there may be parameters. Say you're looking at a tree. Say you're looking at how healthy is the tree, or even the species of the tree may characterize a different type of risk profile. A lot of clients in different parts of the country are going to have completely different species or completely different characteristics of moisture or things impacting the health of a tree. And so, a tree that is characteristically healthy in one place, it might not be in another. So you've just got to be a little bit flexible. Yeah.
How good are we getting with species identification? Can you zero in on specific species anymore?
We can. It's a hard problem. And I've been in remote sensing in the field for decades. And when you grow up in this industry, you're growing up with something called a spectral library. And so that's basically, you've got rocks and minerals and things that don't change, and they're not impacted by weather and environment and growth cycles and things of that nature. And so it's a lot easier to characterize exactly what that material is when you're doing something like basically the species of a rock. What is that material? When it's vegetation, there's so many variables. So again, some parts of the country have the variability in different types of species that are easy to differentiate with remote sensing. Other parts of the country are harder. And so it becomes, what kind of ground truth or different modeling technologies or different types of data can be incorporated in the analysis to get better and better. And I think we're definitely seeing improvement, but it's not an easy problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, shifting gears a little bit. Obviously, LiDAR's been around for a very long time. I think, developed way back in the 50s by the military. And then adoption within the utility space really picked up steam, I would say, over the last 20 years, really more so in the last 10. What's been the big drivers behind that? Has it just been the utilization of the tool, the risk characteristics, wildfire, storms, resiliency, et cetera, regulatory buy-in with PUCs across the country? There's a combination of all those things.
Yeah, the adoption of the technology for the programs. Yeah. It's funny. I was just we just had a couple people over at our booth with this exact same question, where there's a perception. Some will perceive that technology has been part of our solution sets as an industry for a really long time, whereas others do see technology implementations for these programs as new.
Yeah.
And I think it just depends on, where is the program in its maturity, and that's going to differ from one utility to another, one client to another.
Even internally with the different departments.
Oh,
it's
for
a different
sure.
maturity level.
Absolutely, yeah. So, from an adoption perspective, yes, absolutely. Regulatory drivers are key to some of that adoption. When you've got something that's regulated, especially what we're seeing there is wildfire programs that used to be a very California-specific program. We're now seeing those requirements even east of the Mississippi.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And so those regulatory environments, and how can we help our clients implement those regulations using technology, it's something that we're definitely seeing a change because of those regulations. Other drivers are really, I think, there's increasing pressure on cost and schedule and doing a lot more with less, which this isn't new. I think we even talked about it last time.
Yeah, well, we have a human resource shortage, especially in the utility industry. So.
Exactly. And so technology as a way to help us improve that, do more with less and keep improving as the technology gets better. Hopefully we can continue to see more and more of that. So I think those are probably some of the big drivers. The regulations, the weather, the cost schedule.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot of changes. Another question I had too, with the advancements of AI, remote sensing, one of the hurdles in the past was the large amount of data and the processing thereof. Have you seen with the integration of AI speed that up, help remove some of the challenges historically that's been in place?
100%, and it's not just the AI technology; it's the hardware that it's running on.
Yeah,
and when I've seen firsthand orders of magnitude of speed because the AI is implemented on the right hardware technology to enable that processing speed without compromising any quality at all. Is just happening faster. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot of hardware technology supporting the software and the data through those throughputs, that we can just continue to see those massive improvements. And the speed that that's all happening is, I think, beyond any of our expectations.
I assume it's twofold too. AI is probably advancing exponentially the speed of the hardware innovation as well as the software.
I didn't think of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw a news article recently where the AI actually generated a new type of superconductor material that would have taken humanity years, decades.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of fun and scary at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Pros and cons.
But I mean, we're absolutely seeing it and implementing it, and it's been beyond my wildest expectations how much it's impacting our ability to deliver fast. Yeah.
And long term, with an NV5 business model, integration of AI, like, you had a crystal ball. What do you think is going to be in 5 years? Because it's really only been around for a handful of years. So we've seen exponential increase of innovation in that. But crystal ball, 5 years down the road, how's NV5 going to be using this tool?
I really think that there is something to the new LLM technology of just using language to make decisions, get information out of data to make those decisions. That ability, we talk about the education and having to break down barriers of entry, to the marketplace just to adopt technology. If somebody is going to be an expert in the technology, that's one thing. If somebody is an expert in their domain with the important work that they need to do, and they can just use their language to interrogate the data for what they need, they don't need that technology translator. I think that's going to enable us to just go so much farther.
Yes, and every utility has different languages that they speak. With my previous life, I had a book that was like 180 pages of acronyms that referenced different pieces of what people were doing. So to your point, that is very isolated and regional, and even regional within the utility companies. So that breaks down those barriers to implementation.
Yeah, and even within those languages, one thing that I'm hearing that's fascinating is that the AI is trained in English. We're speaking English. And somebody from another country goes to that same AI model and speaks their native language, and it understands. And interprets without
down that barrier,
without being trained in that language. So I hope that we see that kind of translation in our industry, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be happening faster than we think.
Let's hold on.
So, Rebecca, the rate of change means we're going to have to ask you back next year, too. So
I would love to come back. Thank you. Yeah.
We know how busy you are on the exhibit hall, and we're here at a break, and you gave us your time, so I appreciate that.
Thank
really
you.
Have enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for joining us today. Follow us on LinkedIn for updates and to tune in again to